You are Locked On Braves POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, your team every day.
What could have been one of the most frustrating losses for the Braves in 2022 turned into one of the most exhilarating wins on Saturday afternoon/evening at Truist Park as the Braves overcame a 4-spot by the Padres in the 8th inning with one of their own in the bottom half and won this ball game 6-5, evening up their 3-game series at a game apiece heading into the rubber match on Sunday. I'm Grant McAuley. This is the Braves Postcast, part of the all-new Locked On Sports Atlanta. We got a lot to get to in this one, and I'll tell you that most of it is pretty good, though there was a time where it looked like things might be teetering in the wrong direction for the Braves. We'll get into all of that on this episode of the Braves Postcast, but before we do, I want to remind you, go ahead and hit subscribe here on YouTube. Click the bell to get the notifications every time we drop a new episode here on the all-new Locked On Sports Atlanta YouTube page, and make sure you subscribe to Locked On Braves wherever you get your podcast for this postcast feed, as well as all the other great stuff that Jake Mastriani has coming for you all season long. But let's get into this one. It was a good one for the Braves by the time all was said and done, but it kind of had that feeling as it got into the late innings that it might not be the Braves' day because of the way things were going in the 8th inning. But a lot of things happened before we got there, and one of the great ones was the pitching of Charlie Morton as he matched up in a pitcher's duel with Sean Manaea. 6 innings of 1-run ball for Charlie with 9 strikeouts. Manaea, though, charged with 3 runs over his 7+ innings, and he was on the hill when things started to go wrong for the Padres after things had already gone very wrong for the Braves in the top half of the 8th inning. I'll get into all that in a moment, but game number 34 for the Braves, it was game 2 of 3 in this series. The Padres taking the loss, 5 runs, 4 hits, no errors, and 3 men left on base. San Diego now 21-13 on the season. Braves improved to 16-18, 6 runs on 9 hits, couple of errors, 4 men left on base. And Kenley Jansen, with 5 very important outs covered at the end of this game, picks up the win. He's 2-0. Steven Wilson came on trying to get Sean Manaea out of trouble in the 8th inning, but that trouble only multiplied as the Braves scored 4 times, and Wilson took the loss. 3-1 now on the year. Game lasted 2 hours, 55 minutes. Crowd of 40,490 were on hand to see it at Truist Park. And there was a little bit of everything in this one. The Braves scored early as they got a home run from Matt Olson. They got them on the board. They got an RBI from Ozzy Albies to pad that lead. The Padres were able to scratch across the run against Charlie Morton, but everything seemed to be going according to plan through 7 innings as A.J. Minter had come on to relieve Morton, who, again, 6 innings of 2-hit ball, 1 run allowed, 1 walk, and 9 strikeouts for him, building off a strong 5-inning outing against the Milwaukee Brewers last time out. That's 11 innings, 1 run, and 14 strikeouts now for Charlie, who's allowed just 4 hits and 4 walks over that time as well. So everything seemed to be going according to plan until we get to the 8th inning speed bump, and it was once again Will Smith who was on the mound for the Braves. But this is one of those days where you can nitpick a lot about, what happens when a certain reliever comes in and some of the wild rides that you may remember last year from Will Smith, but he didn't get a lot of help from the defense in this frame. In particular, Matt Olson committed an error that kind of threw some gas on the fire. And then with Smith out of the game and Kenley Jansen on trying to restore some order, Austin Riley committed a costly error. And those 2 errors helped the Padres score 4 times and build up a 5-2 lead for the Braves with their 4 runs in that inning. The Braves, though, they kind of dug back into what I would call the 2021 and before playbook, as it was a comeback for the Braves, which we haven't seen a lot of here in the 2022 season thus far. We did see one, though, in walk-off fashion not long ago. In fact, earlier this week, as Orlando Arcia did so against the Boston Red Sox in Game 2 of that series. But this was a little bit more magic for the Braves, and they certainly needed it to even up this series and give themselves a chance to win it on Sunday. But the Olson home run, the Albies RBI, then a 4-run frame that was started by a leadoff walk from pinch hitter Adam Duvall. He had the day off. The Braves have shuffled the lineup. Ronald Acuna Jr. still dealing with that groin strain. He's not going to be in the lineup on Saturday, the Braves found out, and it may not be in the lineup on Sunday either. He did undergo an MRI. The Braves still call him day-to-day, and avoiding an injury list stint, at least for now, Braves remain hopeful that he'll be back sooner than later, but not available for him on Saturday. We had Travis Demeritte back at the top of the order. Another multi-hit game for him, but then things got interesting after that as Austin Riley dropped to 6th in the lineup. He responded with a multi-hit game and a go-ahead run-scoring double that capped that 4-run inning for the Braves in the 8th inning. Ozzy Albies was hitting third. He had a multi-hit game, multi-RBI game. Adam Duvall with the day off altogether. But Marcell Ozuna, interestingly enough, that was the piece that didn't move for the Braves in this game. And he was the one that came through with a big two-run homer that tied things up against Steven Wilson and set the stage for Austin Riley to do the things he did in this game from the offensive standpoint with no bigger hit than that RBI double that put the Braves on top by a 6-5 score. Got more to get into. Before we do, though, I want to let you know summer is coming, and you're going to need some food on the go. Built Bars are the perfect snack to take with you on family vacations. You can throw them in your bags. You can throw them in your kids' backpacks. And the best part about Built Bars, they are healthy and delicious. No more sacrificing delicious food for health. With Built Bar, you can have both, and it's easy. Go to Built.com, use the promo code LOCKED15, get 15% off your order. That's Built.com and the promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off your order. So for the Braves in this one, I think they needed to see a few different things. The ability to stage another comeback, that's the biggest one. That's the biggest takeaway we're going to have from this game. But if there is a 1B for that, it was the pitching of Charlie Morton, who started to look a lot more like the Charlie Morton that the Braves need every fifth day. He has been building off of, I think, the last few innings of his outing against the Mets 2 starts ago, the Milwaukee start, and now here building off of a very good performance. Season high 9 strikeouts across 6 innings for Charlie in this game. I don't know if it means a whole lot in terms of his comfortability or what exactly he was doing that was working right, but the Braves are now using that pitch communication, pitch comm between the catcher and the pitcher rather than the traditional signs, and it seemed like it helped Charlie with his tone, at least in this game, the timing in which he was going, the cadence, if you want to call it that, for the pace in which he was pitching. So perhaps a little thing could be a big thing for Charlie Morton, and Charlie Morton's success is no little thing for the Braves and a big part of this victory. But by the end, it was having to overcome an obstacle, and that was the 4-run inning the Padres dropped on the Braves in the 8th for Will Smith. None of those runs were earned thanks to not one but 2 errors committed by the Braves defense. But then Atlanta's offense able to bail him out. And how about Marcell Ozuna? Came in 5 for 50 in the slump for him entering this game over the past 2 weeks. Struck out the first 3 times in this game and then hit the 2-run homer off Steven Wilson to tie things up. Travis d'Arnaud was hit by a pitch, and he was able to make his way out on base and was chased home on a double by Austin Riley. So that worked out, and the Braves were able to stage that big rally and a little bit of everything and a little bit of contribution from everyone. And it's going to take a village, I think, for a while as the Braves still await getting a healthy Ronald Acuna Jr. back in there and also getting some of these guys going, because Austin Riley, his 3 hits, he came in 2 for his last 31 with 14 strikeouts. That's one of the reasons he was dropped down to 6th in the order. Will he stay down there for very long? I don't know. Was this just a one-day thing? It might be. Or is it just a move in which Brian Snitker is hoping to take a little bit of pressure off his starting third baseman? Could be a little bit of all of those things, but either way, I would say that gambit paid off today in a big time. But the Braves now have a chance to win a series against the San Diego Padres, and they'll look to do so behind Kyle Wright, who'll be on the mound for Game 3 with an 11:35 a.m. Eastern Time first pitch at Truist Park. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. First, though, betonline.net's your number one source for all your betting stats and sports info. You can find the latest sports development, league reviews, including NBA playoff action, MLB scores, and NFL futures. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. Head to betonline.net today. BetOnline, where the game starts. It'll be Kyle Wright starting and looking to bounce back from his roughest outing of the year. That inning that really got away from him against Boston last time out, in which he was charged with 6 runs in that frame. He was able to pitch into the 5th inning. I thought that was a good bounce back for him. But for Kyle, the ERA jumped from 1.74 to 3.03 by the time that outing was done. He's 3-2 on the year, 3.03 ERA. Joe Musgrove, 4-0, so he's unbeaten, 2.08 ERA on the mound for the San Diego Padres. Rubber match of this series. Padres took the opener. Braves were able to pay him back with a comeback in Game 2, evening this thing up and making it the 2 out of 3 that'll be decided on Sunday at a rather unorthodox time. It's going to be 11:35 a.m., the first pitch at Truist Park, as this is going to be a national game on the Peacock streaming service. But again, Game 3, Kyle Wright, Joe Musgrove, 11:35 a.m. is the first pitch time, Eastern Time, for the Atlanta Braves and the San Diego Padres on Sunday at Truist Park. That'll wrap things up for the Braves Postcast. As always, part of the all-new Locked On Sports Atlanta. Make sure you subscribe here to the YouTube channel and to Locked On Braves, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Grant McAuley, and coming to you after what was, again, I think all's well that ends well for the Atlanta Braves on this day. 6-5 was your final score. The Braves over the Padres in dramatic comeback fashion. They go for the series win on Sunday behind Kyle Wright. That'll wrap things up. I look forward to catching you next time on the Braves Postcast. But until then, so long, everyone.